if you check out his YouTube channel, it's
Evil Ted FX.
Yeah, and his stuff is amazing, and he'll teach you all about fabricating in foam, like, and all about the glues to use and all that stuff, and it's really informative. Another friend of mine, Bill Doran, his name is Punish Props. He just came out with an ebook about working with foam, and so all that stuff you can find out, where to work with it, how to work with it, what to coat it with, and honestly, just like experimentation. Like, if something doesn't work for me, I just try something else, and I keep trying it until it works. And sometimes it doesn't work, and I still go to the convention, and it either falls off or chips or whatever, but I still have a good time, and then I go home and try something else again.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't try sewing, though.
No. No, we don't sew.
See, the thing about sewing is I actually worked for Robot Chicken sewing puppet clothes for a while. As I was an intern there, and I sewed tiny suits, and so my sewing skills are for stop motion. So like I can sew tiny clothes, but I'm not a tailor or like a seamstress or anything like so, and I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy it like sculpting or making foam, and Jessica doesn't enjoy it either. So we usually just trade skills with our talented friends and ask them, hey, you know, we'll always make you armor if you want to go ahead and sew something for us, because cosplay should be about doing what you enjoy and what you love, not necessarily what, you know, you absolutely hate doing, unless you want to challenge yourself, which, like, I tried and I just gave up. Jessica hates sewing too.
I hate sewing, it's stupid. The only thing I would say about foam is sharp blade is important.
Yeah, over foam, yeah, you need a really sharp blade and a blade sharpener, like a box cutter, then you can do angles and stuff. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm eating it.
Thank you. Okay. Anyway, but the other thing, probably our fallback from foam is molding and casting things. We do a lot of that too.
Yeah, a lot of sculpting, molding, and casting. We have sculpted and cast armor. We've done a lot of that too, and that's a lot more time consuming, but it does get an entirely different look from costumes. So.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
I think there's some over here.
I see waving, but it's so bright up here that it just looks like random, like,
you guys are all stars.
There were stars.
How did you make the fur for the Fennekin costume in Heroes of Cosplay?
The Fennekin, the what for the Fennekin cosplay?
The fur.
Oh, the fur. The fur we bought, you can buy them online.
Yeah, and we sewed that together. I mean, things like that are not hard to sew, because they're just lines.
They're just lines.
But tailoring a jacket is incredibly difficult. But yeah, we just bought the fur and cut it up and then sewed it together.
Did we dye the fur? I don't remember.
For Evital, it was just the plain fur, and then Chloe, she found that fur, yeah.
And you can dye fur, but it's really annoying.
Yeah, you have to
so
airbrush it. Yeah.
If you can avoid it, especially when it's synthetic fur, it basically doesn't take to dyeing very well. So.
Yeah, you can't dye it. You have to airbrush it with alcohol-based ink. Same with wigs. If you want to dye a wig, I know that you want to be tempted to do the Sharpie thing, but save yourself. Save yourself. And you can dye it with any kind of alcohol-based ink, like any sort of ink you can buy, and you can use a little spray bottle and spray it, or you can have an airbrush. Like, you can find a way. Don't sit there and kill yourself. It's not worth it.
It is a good battle story, though.
It is a good. You're like, I did this, and you're like, oh my god, that's crazy. You must have watched like 30 seasons of something while you did that.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Next question. I was thinking about sharpening wigs. It sounds terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Poor Becky.
Sharpen.
Oops.
Hi. What was the first costume you guys made together?
Ever?
Yeah.
Oh. Go first.
Oh no. Well, I mean, other than all the like Ren Fair costumes and stuff I've done, Jessica wanted me to tell this story because I always tell this story. So when I was 5 years old, I used to dress myself up in things around my house. So
as you do.
I had like fruit roll-up wrappers and like would make them into tails. Like I had all kinds of crazy stuff. And my first cosplay, as I call it, was I took a green pillow and I duct taped it around my back. And I called myself a Koopa from Super Mario Brothers and went to the grocery store like that. So, there you go. I was weird ever since I was a little kid, and I loved it. Yeah.
I had a costume trunk when I was a little kid, and I used to dress up all the time. Probably just the story that sticks out for me as kind of the pinnacle moment is when I was in high school. I was in a play, and the costumer hadn't finished my costume, and then I was kind of like, okay, well, it's like dress rehearsal. I need to wear something. And so I just went into the costume shop, and I found this really ratty, disgusting dress. And I pulled it out, I took it to the shop, I like destroyed it, I spray painted it, and I hot glued. It was like a fairy thing, but it was this Victorian dress, so no one ever would have thought to do this. Spray painted it, distressed it, hot glued these silk flowers that I found from the prop shop, and then I walked out in this, crazy tattered up dress and was like, I'm a fairy now. And the costumer finished the costume, and they ended up liking my tattered up, like, destroyed mess that I made better, and I think it looked cool too. So that was kind of the first moment for me that I was like, oh, okay, I can take these things and make them into something else and call it art.
Yeah, there you go.
Can you guys give me a little backstory on how you guys were approached by the Sci-Fi Channel to do the Heroes of Cosplay? Because there's obviously tens of thousands of people cosplaying. How did you guys get involved with it?
So we actually got involved from our friend Chloe. Chloe called us up and was like, hey, I don't know if I'm going to do this, but I got asked to be on this show called Heroes of Cosplay. Well, it wasn't called that.
I want to do it with you guys.
It was called Cosworld back then, but that ended up being an adult film movie, I guess.
Checking your titles for your TV shows. Make sure to check that too.
Yeah, so they checked that, and they changed it to Heroes of Cosplay. So it has nothing to do with us being heroes. They just needed to change the name.
Yeah, because they couldn't use the other one.
Yeah. So Chloe basically asked us about it, and we were like, well, we will only do it if you do it, Chloe. And she was like, well, I will only do it if you do it. So we didn't actually compete with Chloe during those first 6 episodes.
We actually hadn't competed since 2010 in our Mass Effect costumes during the documentary.
Yeah.
So we hadn't competed since then, and we had never planned on doing it again.
Yeah, Holly has grown a lot as a person, but she used to get real mad when we didn't win.
Yeah, I did.
We're better now, but we didn't take it very well. So we were like, competing isn't healthy for us, so we should stop doing it. But I think now we've learned that judging is subjective, and you might win. You might take your costume to one convention and win best in show, and you might take that same costume to another one, which technically you're not supposed to compete. Like same costume, like it's a horse and pony show. You can, but I don't know.
They're all subjective.
Who knows? It's subjective. So you can take one costume to one show and win best in show, another, and the judges won't give you anything. So we realized there's no point in being mad. Just have fun, and as soon as it stops being fun, don't do it. But the whole point for us in costume contests that we've realized is it is a time where people are forced to look at you for like 30 seconds. Like they have to. They're in the audience and you're on stage and you're just like, yep. I'm on stage, here's my little performance, here's my one-man show, and you have to watch, haha.
And you can strike a fierce pose, and you can do your thing, and it's really fun, and it builds your confidence, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
So that's why we agreed to do the show, because even though competing still isn't really our thing, if we can encourage people to cosplay and to be confident and to, love themselves and what they're wearing and have fun, then that's what's important.
Yeah, and that's why we still do the show.
Yeah.
Is because, and when they asked us to come back for the second half of the first season, because we heard about so many, kids and families who started cosplaying, so many people who said, I told my parents about cosplay and I was able to show them this show and they understood. And, I think that for as much good you put in the world, that's what you can expect to get back, and that's really, again, we do silly things, and we never want to be, we're not out there stomping around being, serious business activists about something, but if we can be silly and happy and advocate for something that way, then I think that that's, a dream come true.
No, it's true. It's totally true. But we do absolutely advocate for people being able to cosplay whatever they want. Like, no matter who you are, what you look like, what you're into, like, it literally does not matter. If you want to cosplay something, go out there and do it. Because this is your safe place to do that and to have fun and be yourself and be confident. So don't let anyone tell you otherwise. And that's one thing that we do advocate for, is being body positive, being happy, loving yourself, and loving being a character, because that's why we're fans. So,
yeah, everything about fandom is supposed to come together in comic conventions and in cosplay, and it should be inclusive and it should be a community. And if you want to do something, as long as you're not hurting yourself or you're not hurting anyone else, or as long as you're not hurting yourself in a way that sends you to the hospital, like, I don't have feeling in my feet, we can't really tell you not to hurt yourself. Do it. Make yourself happy. Go for it. If you cosplay because you want to, you know, sew even though you hate it, do it.
Yeah.
If you cosplay because you want to, you know, have like a Deadpool costume and troll everyone, do it.
Yeah.
That's fine. Have
if you
fun.
buy a costume, who cares? If you're having fun, it doesn't matter.
No, anything is legitimate. Your feelings are legitimate, and you are a person.
It's true. When you're a person.
Unless you're in costume and you're a creature, then
Or
you're not.
something, then you're not really a person. All right.
Next
Questions. We'll get off our soapbox.
Hello. I'm actually, I like to sew a lot, so I love sewing. I'm
Good for
sorry.
you.
I know it's like, you're saying it's stupid, but it's not.
No, it's not.
I know.
We feel stupid when we sew. let me preface that. We feel stupid when we sew.
Especially when you're doing it 14 hours straight. But anyways, do you have any ideas to glue, like the best glue to actually glue cardboard? For cardboard.
Yeah, cardboard. I'm trying to think. I mean, cardboard is because it's so porous, it doesn't really stick together really well. I would honestly, what was I just thinking? I just thought of it in my head. Cardboard. You can use, you could use something like Gorilla Glue for cardboard. Yeah. Gorilla Glue is for rigid foam, for things that are hard and porous. So what you want to do is you want to just like stick it in between cardboard. It takes a little while to set, but it will work because it foams up. But it will leave a little bit of a gap, so make sure not to put too much. But yeah, someone in the audience agreed with my Gorilla Glue comment. Someone's into glues like I am. We're like, yeah, glue. I go to Home Depot and I'm like, which glue am I going to use today? I don't know. Oh yeah, that stuff is amazing. You know what?
Repeat what you
Gorilla Tape is also amazing. And another good tip that I have for you guys cosplayers, Jessica and I use gaffer's tape. Now,
all the time. I
Gaffer's
found out about it from when I worked my way through college as a theater, lighting, and sound designer. And we used gaffer's tape all the time. And there were so many nights when gaffer's tape is the only thing that saves you when you're rolling up cords backstage and you have to tape the whole thing down, and at the end of the night you have to pull them up, and if the tape starts sticking to itself, then you're screwed.
Yeah.
Like the tape sticks to the floor and you're able to pull it up and it doesn't leave a residue and it doesn't stick to itself as much, and it's awesome.
Yeah, so gaffer's tape for costumes to fix last minute things. It won't leave a residue on your costume, it won't leave a residue in your room, it won't leave anything because it's made for film crews to put all over the place. So it's a little bit more expensive, but they come in giant rolls, and as a replacement for duct tape, like that stuff is amazing. So there we go. And it's the clear kind. It kind of looks like honey. It's not honey, but it looks like honey. It's like it's just the generic Gorilla Glue. It's not the super glue. It's not the other ones. It's just Gorilla Glue. It looks. You'll see it. It's clear and like looks like honey. Yeah.
Do you have any like advice for people like me who want to start competing soon?
Start competing. Oh gosh.
Okay, here's my advice for people who want to start competing. A, pack snacks, because no one's going to feed you.
No one's gonna feed you.
B, hydrate, but do so in moderation, because you might be in a costume that is hard to pee in. C, be prepared when you're competing that even if you finish your costume early, that because you're in the competing mindset, you might want to keep working on it until like the last possible minute. For us, we are literally working to the last possible minute on Heroes of Cosplay because we are given 2 weeks to work on something.
Because
at
the film
most,
crew wants to film it.
because they, the film crew wants to see the process from beginning to end, which, fair enough. That's what people who watch this show want to see. They want to see the process. But if you're competing, even if you get all of that time, sometimes you still end up going until the very last minute, not because you procrastinated, or maybe because you procrastinated, but also because you want it to look perfect. And so just be prepared for that. And even if you say, no, I'm not going to do that, just be prepared that you might do that.
It's true.
And the other big tip I would have, and there's loads of tips, and I cosplay class video, there you go, idea. I would say make friends with the people who are your fellow contestants. That's the biggest takeaway I have. There's nothing that feels more like community theater to me than the backstage area of a costume contest. You learn tips from people, you exchange, Facebook info, you meet friends. We've met a lot of people through that, and it's been fun.
Yeah, don't be afraid. It's friendly competition. There's no reason to be, Debbie Downers when you're backstage. You're all in it together. Share your safety pins. Don't worry. It's gonna be okay. That's my biggest advice. Is it's gonna be okay. Because you get real stressed out when you go on stage. I mean, before you go on stage. When you're on stage, you're like, yeah. But before you're on stage, you're just really stressed out. So don't worry about that. You'll be okay. And if something falls off and something doesn't happen right, just don't worry about that, because that's not the point of cosplay. It's worrying about if you're perfect. It's worrying about if you're having fun. So if it falls off, roll with it. If something falls off you, just be like, whatever, it happened. I mean, Jessica and I legitimately, I dropped my mic and that in our drow costumes, she lost her bow. So many things went wrong. We still won an award.
True.
And we didn't expect to win it. We literally, at 99% of the time, we don't expect to win anything on the show. I'm just saying. We're just like, yeah, we're just here just to go on stage and be crazy. So when we do, we're like, bonus.
Yeah.
I'm one of your football people that you was talking about earlier. And so this year is my first CosCom, putting a costume together.
Woo!
But
Awesome.
you guys always talk about molding and when you have to make your styles. What do you guys, to cast a mold, how do you do that kind of stuff?
Oh, it really depends on what you're making. So my best advice.
Okay, say Juggernaut helmet. This one's kind of jinky, but it still
That's
works.
awesome.
Oh,
That's awesome.
okay.
I did it.
I just use chicken wire, Christmas wreath, and paper mache.
Nice. See, that's a way to make something. That's not wrong. It's just a different way. Molding and casting is different.